Okay, so everyone, now let's talk about taking profit. Sitting Bull came on and had a really good post about this. To have a complete strategy with your trading bots, you really need to have a plan of how you're going to take profit. As we keep saying again and again, profits on futures are not realized until they're taken off of futures. So let's talk about that. Let's get into how we can really get our profits somewhere safe where we know that we can hold on to those funds and not have them disappear, as you can see that happens on futures. All right, so this is the post from Sitting Bull, talking about let's have a complete strategy on take profit. We have talked about that a lot in VIP, not enough in SAR. So this section will actually be available in the SAR course, so that everyone who gets started with SAR can really have this as part of their plan, part of their strategy. So you're not just building a futures account until it gets liquidated each time. This is not a long-term strategy. Okay, so let's talk about this. So as I said, number one rule is until you transfer those profits off of futures, they are not realized. Okay, you see you see on your trading UPNL, right? Unrealized profits. It's exactly what it is when you have profits sitting on futures. Yeah, it's nice to keep compounding, right? Like Tough Octopus going from 2K to 100K in 28 days on his futures account. But it can lead to eventually getting liquidated. So we don't want to have this happen. We want to talk about possible capitulations, right? This is what happened, right, with FTT, with Luna earlier this year. There are coins that are going to go to zero or very, very close to, right? And if you're holding that on a futures account as one of these altcoins that the project fails, that that basically means even at a 1x, 2x leverage, you're still getting liquidated, right? We were just talking with Kyle, right? With Doge and SHIB both going down 50%, that leads to account liquidation, right? Because two positions together going down 50%, it means 100% down, means your account gets liquidated, even when you're going low risk. So this is really the main part of this strategy. Is you need to be aware that on a long you can get liquidated if multiple pairs equal 100% down, or if one pair, like an FTT or a Luna, will go down 100%. Same thing with shorts, right? It's not something we need to worry about right now during the bear market. But I remember, it was actually even before I joined SDP, a whole bunch of guys went short on ETH, and then it pumped and it pumped and it pumped over 100%, and short those accounts got liquidated. So this is the risk of bags on shorts, right? And so we need to be aware of that. You can also get liquidated on shorts, okay, on futures. So is it possible to stay ahead of these events, right? These capitulation events, right? Black swan events, dumps. Yeah, I mean, you can watch our chat. We try to stay on top of everything, right? Put out those at everyone announcements, like I showed you guys earlier. We posted on November 4th about a dump coming. We didn't know anything about FTX or anything like that, and the market did dump. But your bots are still running. You don't want to. Not necessarily everyone's going to see our announcements, and so yeah, it is possible for staying on top of some of the dumps, but not all of them. And it could be when you're sleeping. You never know. So with all that said, how do we keep our capital safe? It's moving our profits off of futures onto spot. Okay, so let's talk about. First priority is getting your initial capital off of futures. Okay, so whatever you put in there, let's say you put in $10,000 onto future, you want to get your $10,000 off of futures onto spot by taking profits every day, or whatever your cycle is that you're doing that, right? You can be using a script like Daisy Auto Transfer, which I'll talk about shortly, or you can just be doing this manually. But what you want to do is you want to take as much profit as you can, whether it's 100% or 75%, it's going to be a large chunk of profits that you're taking off of futures and moving to spot. So that this is really, there's two ways to look at it. Okay, you can do that daily method, right? Taking 100% or a high percentage of profit every day and taking it and putting it onto spot, or you can do the higher risk way, which is to compound daily, right? And then when you reach 100%, let's say you put in 10,000, you reach 20,000, take off 10,000. Right? Take off your initial capital once you're at 100% profit on that account. You know, with the right strategy, right? If you have SAR set up correctly, you know, we had Alpha make 100% in 3 days, right? You can do that. You can get up to 100% quickly, but it's very high risk to do this, right? And you're exposed during this time that you're compounding. That your futures account could get blown. So yeah, during a strong trending market, this is definitely something you should look at. If we're consolidating, if we're about to make another dump down, maybe this is not the best strategy, right? To just risk off as you go. But the higher risk way is to compound until you're at 100% and then rug all those profits onto spot. Okay. And then you're once that initial capital is safe, then you can start to be more aggressive with your compounding on futures. Okay, so really, after we've gotten that initial capital out, why do we even have futures? We have futures really to supplement the profits we're making on spot, right? We have an overall goal for our account. 1% a day is a good one to make it sort of either a minimum or the goal, right? Depending on how aggressive you are with your settings. But the way I like to look at it with my own accounts is 1% is sort of the goal. And if I make 1%, then I'm happy. I don't need to adjust. And if I'm making below 1%, then I need to be more aggressive with my settings and make more profits, right? This is sort of a good North Star. Maybe it's 2 or 3% for you. Our VIPs are more experienced and want to get those degen profits. That's okay. So yeah, maybe your goal is higher. But the idea is you want to calculate a percentage of your portfolio that's going to be on futures, okay, and that you're willing to risk this capital, right? I remember Alpha way back when he was running a counter trade bot. He assumed that he would get liquidated every 15 days, and so he would just make his profit levels equal 100% of his account every 15 days. No problem if it gets liquidated, right? You factored that in. So if you think your futures account is going to get liquidated, let's be more realistic. Like once, twice a year is possible, right? We get these volatile moves even during bull runs. Then yeah, you can sort of assume that getting your capital out every 2 to 3 months is sort of where you want to be aiming, and then everything on top of that is icing on the cake, right? It's just it's good, right? And really your daily percentage goal is what you want to be looking at. So your spot percentage that you're making, it's spot. So this is risk off. You're not making as much with spot. 0.5% a day is just fine on spot. Even 0.2% a day is great because those profits are safe, right? These are you're not going to have a risk of liquidation with those profits. So yeah, I mean, we like to aim for 1% a day on spot, but it's not necessarily going to happen. But what you can do is use your futures account to add to that profit level. So if you're making 0.5% a day on your spot, then add to that with 0.5% a day from futures. And what I'm saying is 0.5% overall on your account, not just what you have on futures. Okay, so if it's if you have a $40,000 account, then you need to be making 4% on futures to get 1%. If you want to move 1% overall portfolio profit to your spot account. Okay, so really you really want to look at what your daily goal is. And I like this post from Kyle Todd, profit from the last 7 days, he made $1,726. This, I believe, is on a around $10,000 account. And this is really, this is fantastic, right? You can live off of this kind of money and be full-time on trading on the bots and live a comfortable life. That I think that's fantastic. And we should all be aiming for these kind of profit levels is really the way to go. Okay, and so what do you need to earn off of bots, right? $100 a day, right? It can be that would be 1% a day on a 10K account, right? No problem. So this is just the way you need to think about it. And do you want all of that coming off of futures? No, because your capital that you need to survive needs to be safe, right? That's your ammunition. That's your that's your tool set that you need to use. Your capital is what you need to use to make your income. And so you need to keep that capital safe. So that's all about taking that initial off of futures, right? It's all about having spot generating, a good percentage of your daily, minimum income, and then having futures supplement that and bring it up. And so just ways to think about it, right? And really trying to get towards your daily goal, your daily percentage goal, and being full-time. And yeah, spot is where you can compound and build that account as well, right? And we'll talk about that. So let's talk about spot. Indeed. So spot is all about long-term capital accumulation. Okay, we really want to think about spot as this is lower risk, right? It's not zero risk because it's still on an exchange. It's still a centralized exchange. You can still possibly lose it, but these events where exchanges go down, it happens, once every 4 years, right? Or once every bear market, we get a couple exchanges that die, right? But so don't plan, to that your spot account is just going to get rugged. This is really where you can start accumulating these coins. And so I was asked about this about Coin M. Someone was asking me about Coin M. I can't remember who, but yeah, Coin M is really Binance's way of creating more liquidations, right? If you're holding BTC and the market's dumping, right, you're going to find that your liquidation point is going to move much faster than if you were holding a stable coin, USDT, during a dump, right? This is just a way for Binance to make more money off of the backs of all these poor users getting liquidated. Whereas on spot, your funds are safe, right? Market can dump as long as it doesn't go down to zero on your Bitcoin, on your ETH, then you're fine, right? You can keep adding and adding and adding to these positions, okay? And so, yeah, this is really where you can build up your positions using the bots, right? And so what kind of strategy on the bots? This is the low risk strategy, right? As we said, 0.5 to 1% a day on spot is wonderful. It's fantastic, right? And really the whole point on spot is to avoid getting bags, right? Even though you don't have liquidation points, if you have a bag on spot, it's taking up one of your available active trades spots, right? If you have max active 4 deals, then if you have 2, 3, 4 of those bagged up, you're not able to keep accumulating and compounding. So the idea here is you want to be able to keep those active deal slots open and allow it to keep accumulating. Okay. And what I would say for this is our meat strategy is ideal for spot, right? Getting the meat of the move, as in getting that low risk, high probability, beginning of the move. This is really where the best trades occur, and you're not going to get bagged up in most cases on that medium trend, and a little bit on higher, right? And then degen, you're risking off. This is what meat strategy is all about. So focus on that medium trend, right? Bring medium up to a higher default or highest default risk setting, and with an ADX on, that kind of thing, right? We're as you guys saw with our last segments, our last live session, it's all about having when you're doing per pair settings on medium, you're basically looking, am I going to go higher or highest? Am I going to have ADX on, ADX off? That's what you're doing for meat strategy. And you can go pretty quickly through pairs and do that. Okay. And there's another thing to be said about stable coins, right? There is some risk that a stable coin might rug on you, right? This happened with UST, right? It did happen. Now, it is possible, right, to risk off by going half your portfolio USDT, half of it USDC, right? You can also go BUSD if you're on Binance, right? These are ways to risk off and still hold stable. When the market is going down, being unstable is good, right? When you hit a market bottom, that's when it's time to start going into your BTC, your ETH. And so this is really what we're talking about here, buy the dip, right? And so, in our VIP, we talk about the market bottom coming, and when that market bottom does hit, this is the time to buy up BTC and ETH and whatever else you can trade against on the spot market. Okay, and when you're trading against BTC, trade top 20 pairs, top 30 pairs against BTC, and you're just going to accumulate and accumulate. But your initial that you're moving from stable to Bitcoin or ETH, you want to get in at a good price. Basically, you don't want to be underwater with those positions if you can avoid it. And because that as Bitcoin moves up from, let's say it goes down to 9K, this is a great position to get in and then accumulate from there, right? Then you know that as the market moves up from there, your accumulation and the asset going up, they're both going to make your portfolio grow. All right, and then finally, as we saw from FTX, right? Even FTX spot was not safe. Right. And so what you want to do is not keep all your capital on exchange, right? Like we were just talking about, when it's a market low, maybe it's time to move a lot of your stable off of exchange and buy up some BTC, buy up some ETH, and whatever alt projects are interesting for you, and have those sitting on your hardware wallet. Okay, we really like Ledger and Trezor. Those are good hardware wallets. Your capital is safe. You don't need to worry about your MetaMask getting hacked, right? This is something MetaMask does get hacked a lot. You can get spoofed and and scammed on your MetaMask. You know, there's a lot of hackers that will make their site look like a fake site that looks like 3 commas or whatever, and you're trying to attach your MetaMask, and it's actually a scam site, and they rug all your funds. This can't happen when you connect your MetaMask with Trezor or Ledger, and even better, make it a Trezor or Ledger account that's not connected to MetaMask. But yeah, just things to think about. Hardware wallets, and yeah, when you're considering your strategy, your take profit strategy, part of that is, you know, we move futures to spot to keep our profits safe, and then ultimately we want to have a plan also from going spot to hardware wallet, so that you can keep those funds safe for the long term, right? Cold storage, right, on a hardware wallet. This is really where your funds are most safe. Owning the keys is so important, and I think a lot of people are learning that lesson with that FTX bankruptcy. All right, guys, and yeah, just a final point here is our incredible mod Daisy has created this fantastic tool called auto transfer. I posted about this when I responded to Sitting Bull. Actually, the best option is to use Daisy Auto Transfer, which will automatically transfer out a amount of profits that you define. All right, so this is what we really, you know, you can go to this link here, github.com, and go to Daisy's page, auto transfer, and this is really an incredible tool that takes all the emotions out, right? Every time you take capital out of futures, it's hard, right? You want to keep that horse winning, right? It keeps going up, it keeps going up. It's going to last forever, right? It feels that way, especially during bull runs. But it's not. It works until it doesn't, right? And so having Daisy Auto Transfer takes the emotions out of it. You can choose the time between transfers. You can choose the amount of profits that are taken out every day, right? We want to be 100 or close to 100 for when we first take that initial capital out, and then reduce that after that, you know, 50%, that kind of thing. You can do that all within Daisy Auto Transfer. And then Daisy Auto Transfer also helps, you know, if you get bagged up, right? If too much of your margin is being used up, too much of your you have not enough remaining balance, that you know, maybe you won't survive a dump unless you have these settings set. You can set those as well within Daisy Auto Transfer to keep your futures strong, to be able to, you know, avoid liquidation. That's always better, right? And then yeah, if you want, you can set up Daisy Auto Transfer to send messages to your Discord, to a custom Discord channel. And this is great because you can get that on your phone, right? And see profits moving off, right? And that's just the best feeling, right? I have those come up on my smartwatch, which I just love to see that, right? To see profits being made, profits being transferred, you know, while I'm out on the boat, while I'm barbecuing, while I'm doing something other than staring at my computer. It's nice to have that, just doing it automatically, right? That's what we love. So yeah, if you like what you see with Daisy's auto transfer, please send her a tip, right? This is a free tool, but she put a lot of time into it. So please support her and send her a tip if this is a part of your strategy, and if it's keeping your capital safe, then give her some thanks in the form of a tip. We always stand by what Daisy's making for the community, and yeah, we appreciate everything she does for us. All right, guys, so that's it for our Taking Profit guide, and I hope you guys can really internalize this and make it part of your strategy, not just always compounding futures, right? And trying to avoid liquidation on futures. Yeah, it will work until it doesn't, right? We want to, this is like insurance, right? You don't need insurance until you need it, right? This is always something to keep in mind. And as we said, from spot to hardware wallets, ultimately, okay? I want to see you guys ordering your ledgers, ordering your Trezors, right? And keeping your capital ultimately safe on there. Okay.